The ACT Party is anti-worker. The ACT Party is the enemy of working people. The ACT Party seeks to weaken trade unions. This was seen in the ACT Party's eagerness to abolish the Labour government's trade union empowering fair pay agreement legislation. The ACT Party hates trade unions because they empower workers. The ACT Party wants workers to be at the mercy of their employers. The ACT Party wants a stagnant minimum wage. The ACT Party has repeatedly called for the minimum wage to be frozen for the next 3 years. This condemns working people to poverty and destitution, particularly as inflation will undermine that minimum wage. The ACT Party is anti-trade union. The ACT Party wants workers to be powerless. The ACT Party wants to stagnate the minimum wage. The ACT Party wants workers to be poor. If you are a worker, the ACT Party is happy to make you poor and powerless, all so that their rich donors can be even more wealthy. The ACT Party seems to think that the rich and the landlords are the victims of our society. How out of touch and delusional do you have to be to think the richest people in society are unfortunate and hard done by? The stupidity of it is impressive. The ACT Party's political survival has been based on holding the Epsom electorate. The Epsom electorate is a central Auckland electorate and is said to be the richest electorate in the country. The ACT Party is funded by the rich and wealthy. The ACT Party receives a significant number of big money political donations. The ACT Party represents the interests of its big money donors. Alongside union busting and stagnant minimum wages, the ACT Party has always favoured privatisation, deregulation, and cuts to social spending. The ACT Party loves to talk about cutting red tape. It is easy to assume that they are talking about cutting dumb regulations. They are talking about things like healthy home standards to ensure that you can live in a warm, mould-free home. When we think about the ACT Party, it is important to remember their founder. The ACT Party was founded by Roger Douglas, a deranged Minister of Finance from the Labour Party. The purpose of ACT is to complete the brutal economic reform started by Douglas. This brutal economic reform entails significant privatisation, deregulation, and cuts to social spending. The ACT Party has spent a lot of time pretending to be the party of low taxes. The reality is that they do support tax cuts, but the tax cuts they support are predominantly for rich people. They want to flatten tax rates, which means an unfair tax burden on ordinary people who will bear an increasingly disproportionate burden in terms of the well-being cost of taxation. It is also not the case that ACT has a principled objection to taxation. Roger Douglas, the founder of the party, introduced the Goods and Services Tax, a gigantic flat tax that applies every time you buy something. Every time you purchase something, you are being taxed, and you can blame the founder of the ACT Party for that. Roger Douglas redistributed the tax burden. He gave tax cuts to high-income earners and paid for it by burdening poor people with heavy taxes in the form of GST. Because the ACT Party is not about cutting tax. The ACT Party is about redistributing the tax burden away from rich people and towards ordinary people. The ACT Party has become so shamelessly fixated on the interests of the wealthy that even Roger Douglas has criticised them for it. The ACT Party is a vile, donor-serving party that is funded by big money and serves big money. Through union busting and stagnant minimum wages, they condemn working people to powerlessness and poverty. They are the enemy of working people everywhere. They are the enemy of the fair and decent society that we could have. They must be voted out of power as soon as possible.